Good day, students. I've come back again. So we completed chapter 1 of history. Tracing changes through 1,000 years. Okay. Now, after we've completed, now we'll do question answers. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Take out your books. The first, let us take some important questions from here. I'm sure you'll be able to give the answers, because if you have followed the lectures and if you have gone through the book also, then I'm sure you will get the answers. Who was considered a foreigner in the past? Who was considered a foreigner? Somebody from other village was considered a foreigner. Did you find? You'll find it in paragraph 4. Okay, no, paragraph 1 on page 4. Okay, page 4, paragraph, I told 1. So, but the answer is very simple. You can write in your own words. Somebody from other village was considered a foreigner. If you want, you can also write he was called Pardesi, put inverted commas, Pardesi in Hindi, and Ajnabi in Persian. Okay, you can add this. But still, if you have any doubt or if you want to know more, you can refer to page, like I said, page 4. Okay, on page 4, first paragraph. Okay, first paragraph. It's given there, so you can write from here or in your own words. Now, next we come to true and false. We do not find inscription from the period after 700. This is wrong. Completely wrong. We do find inscriptions. If you happen to go to these forts and all, or palaces, you will find inscriptions on the walls and all. So this is wrong. Second, the Maratha asserted their political importance during this period. This is true. We discussed the Jats, Marathas, Homs, Sikh, Rajputs. They all asserted their strength or their political importance in this period. You will read in the following chapters. Next question is, forest dwellers were sometimes pushed out of the land with the spread of agricultural settlement. This is very, very true. Those who were rich and they had a position and they had power, they did push these forest dwellers, even the rulers and all, and later on even in British time also you will find the same thing. The Britishers took away forcibly the land or the forest dwellers. Forest dwellers had to flee, sometimes leaving their habitat, their place of living. Okay, so this is true. Next we come to D. Sultan Ghiyasuddin Balban controlled Assam, Manipur, Kashmir. In Prashasti, these three have not been mentioned. Bengal has been mentioned. The Gauda, Bengal was called Gauda. It's his empire stretched, or his rule stretched from Bengal, Gauda, to Afghanistan, Gujjar, to South India. So it's given in your book. You can refer it, but this is wrong. Okay. Now we come to the next one. If you want, you can even refer while writing the answers. It's better. Intelligent people always refer. Okay, they don't blindly follow. Okay, they use their intelligence, and they also find out the answers and they assert the right answers. Okay, now we come to the next one, that is a fill in the blanks. Archives are places where documents and manuscripts are kept. I have written here documents. Okay, documents and manuscripts. Manuscripts and important documents or records are kept in the book. The word documents have been given, so you write documents and manuscripts. Okay, next is Dash was the 14th century chronicler. Remember, he had written in, we had mentioned in 1324, he had written manuscript, isn't it? Ziauddin. I have written here Ziauddin Barani. And then after 2 years again he had written, but scripts were copied and continued to copy, and the original was, nobody knew about the original. It was only in 1960 that the original historians found the original. Okay, it was 1356, not 26, but 1356 that he had first written the manuscript. Ziauddin Barani. Okay, so this is the answer for the second one. Now, next one is the important crop. Important crops that came in the medieval period was potato, corn, chilies, tea and coffee. I have written here, where is it? Here, potato, corn, chilies, tea and coffee. You find in the book also, we discussed. Okay, now next fourth one. List some of the technological changes associated with this period. Important ones. Okay, many changes took place and you are going to read in the following chapters, but the most important ones, the first one we discussed was the wheel. Which wheel? Persian wheel, because agriculture is very important. It has been important right from the beginning. So Persian wheel, yes, was used for irrigation. I have mentioned here Persian wheel in irrigation, then spinning wheel for weaving, then third was firearms. I have forgotten in my lecture to mention firearms. Okay, in this period Barbar brought with him, and because of that only he was successful. Otherwise Indian armies or soldiers were very brave and very good, and but Barbar was able to he was successful, or because he had firearms. So that was in the medieval period we find introduction of firearms in combat. Combat means battles and all. In war, not war, because war is big, on bigger scale. So in the smaller scale it is battles. Okay, so battles in combat, firearms began to be used in the this medieval period. So these three: Persian wheel, spinning wheel and firearms. Now next question, fifth question. What were some of the major religious development? This you'll find on page 11 in paragraph 3. First important in religion was, religious development was about Brahmins getting importance, big place in the society. Okay, they knew, or the knowledge of Sanskrit brought them or gave them a lot of respect, and they, the rulers and all felt proud to be the patrons. So Brahmin occupied important place in the society, and they knew Sanskrit texts. Okay, and they used to hold rituals and all, elaborate rituals for the rulers. Okay, so this was the first one, Brahmins, importance of Brahmins. Second was the movement, Bhakti movement took place, isn't it? So now the common men, or the people in general, not only rulers or chiefs, but even the general public could, in this period you will find in the chapters that you read, that Bhakti movement, in the Bhakti movement people began to worship their deities. Okay, and they, without rituals. Okay, not elaborate rituals. Now no need of priests also, they could do on their own. So this was the second movement. In the old last years, in the ancient period, you don't find this. Only rulers had the right to worship, and Brahmins and the common men could not attend such ceremonies or such rituals. But in this period we find the movement of the Bhakti movement. It is very important that Bhakti movement, okay, you will read in detail later on. Then I've written a Bhakti movement, worship of different deities. Devotees could worship without priest, also without elaborate rituals. Now next was the arrival of Islam in India. In 7th century, missionaries and merchants brought the teachings of Quran. Quran is a holy book of Muslims. So they brought Muslim religion, we can say, to India. And when invaders and these missionaries, they came here, there was spread of Islam religion in India. And of course, apart from Shia, Sunni, what took place in India was the change in Islam in India was that now the theology and mystic traditions. Mystic tradition is Sufism. Sufism, you must have seen This Nizamuddin Aulia, you must have heard your parents talking about Nizamuddin Aulia, or they were Sufi saints. Okay, were influenced by Hinduism, like bhajans and all. If you look at the typical Muslim religion, then they are against singing of bhajans or singing or dancing. But in Sufi we find qawwalis and all. So that the change was in India, in Muslim this religion. This change, or we can say theological and mystic traditions, began in India in this, though they were divided in this Shia and Sunni, but theology and the mystic movement in this religion was brought in India. It's given in a book. You can write from there. Okay, so this is about this is religious development that took place during this period. Now let's understand question number 6. In what ways has the term or the meaning of the term Hindustan changed over centuries? Now this I have because there was no place here, and then if I rub, it will take time, so we can discuss. I'm sure we did in the first video also I discussed, in the second video also I discussed, so you might remember. You will be able to write the answer. It is but still I'll tell you, it is given on page 3. Okay, page 3 and paragraph 2 and 3. That's about Hinduism, not Hinduism, sorry, Minhaj-e-Siraj. Remember Minhaj-e-Siraj? He had used the word Hindustan for to depict or to convey the rule of Delhi Sultanate, that was Punjab, Haryana, and land between Ganga and Yamuna. Then Babur used the word Hindustan in his Baburnama. He wanted to convey the geography, the fauna, and and the culture. Okay, and Amir Khusro, the poet, had used in 14th century the word Hind, and he wanted also to convey the same meaning, that is geography and the culture of subcontinent India. Subcontinent is the whole India, okay, or Hindustan. Okay, children, so this answer, like I told you, it is given on page 3 in paragraph 2 and 3. Okay, so from here you can write, yes, page 3, third paragraph. Okay, so third paragraph clearly given, you take the main points, or you can write in your own words also. You have understood, so you can write in your own words, that would be better. Now, how were the affairs of Jatis regulated? Remember, we talked about Jatis. It is still, they had their own rules and regulations. The elders, they had to follow the elders. Okay, and now this is also given on page 8. Page 8 and paragraph 3 and 4. Okay, so last, or we can say last 2 paragraphs, and last as society became differentiated, people were grouped into jatis, okay, according to their occupations. According to the profession and occupation, they were divided in jatis, and they had their own rules and regulations. And these regulations were enforced by the elders of the assembly or the panchayat, and the group had to follow them. So this is given on page 8, like I said. The last 2 paragraphs you will find. Okay, if you want, I can revise once more. How were the affairs of jatis regulated? In medieval period, we find the people were divided according to the profession, that is jatis. Okay, and each jatis had their own rules and regulations. They had their panchayat, and they had to follow them. Okay, it was enforced by the elders of the panchayat, jati panchayat. Now next question, what does the term pan-regional empire mean? Now this answer, if you want, pan-regional empire means that the rule may be in a certain area, but the ruler has influence in other areas as well. That is called the pan-regional empire, like Tughlaq, Mughals, Chola, Khilji. They all had 10 empires. I'll write the answer here if you want. Empire means the empires. I'll write here. The empires which were spanning diverse means different, diverse regions which was expanded to a larger areas or regions. Okay, you can give example from your book. That example: Khaljis, Cholas, Tughlaqs, Mughals. Okay, so this the term pan-regional empire means that the empires which is spanning diverse regions, which were having influence in different regions, which was expanded to a larger areas of region. They had influence in the larger areas, not only in their area but other areas as well. Okay, you will study about this in detail when you study about Mughals or Tughlaqs, if you are going to study in the following chapters, and then you will understand more how they had this influence. Okay, next one. What were the difficulties historians face in using manuscripts? We've discussed twice. We discussed in 2 videos. So now if you want, you can go through on page 5. Okay, once again you can go on through page 5, first paragraph. Okay, page 5 and page 5 and page 6. Sorry, page 6, last 4 lines. Page 5, last 4 lines, and page 6, the first paragraph. Okay, as scribes copied manuscripts, they also introduced changes like forgetting some sentence or introducing on their own some sentence, words. Okay, so these differences grew with the passing of centuries, and subsequently they were different. At the end, they were different from the original one. Okay, so this was a serious problem because it was rarely like the original manuscript. Okay, so you can write this answer. You have understood. You can write in your own words. The next question: how do historians divide the past into periods? Do they face any problems? Okay, the periods. Okay, how do so? This also you find on page 12. On page 12, last paragraph. Okay, in the middle of the 19th century, people have like Britishers. You can give examples. Britishers have divided into periods. That is especially of India into 3 periods: Hindu, Muslim, and British, based on religion of the rulers. But they had ignored the significant changes, economical changes and political changes were taking place. So in the society, changes were taking place. So this was not accepted by the historians later on. Okay, so there is a drawback when it is divided on the basis of religion or some other issue, because all the aspects have to keep in mind while we divide the periods or we divide the history. Okay, so now we have history. If you want, you can add one more, that we have divided history on the basis of the changes that took place in the society, in the political sense, in the economic, okay, in the technical. So this you will find. If you want to elaborate, you can take from paragraph 1, page 13. Okay, so next one. This is over. Okay, now compare. Let's do extra. Let's do. Remember the first map and second map. Second map was drawn by a cartographer who was French in 1750. 1750s, isn't it? And it is quite different. It was somewhat like we have today. But one that was drawn by geographer, Arabic geographer, what was his name? Idrisi, Idrisi, isn't it? So it was quite different. Al-Idrisi, yes, Al-Idrisi, A-L, then dash, Idrisi. So Al-Idrisi, he had 1154, okay, or you can say 1154 CE. So he had made upside down. Upside down means north, south. He had shown where north is today, and so you can write in your own words. Compare both the maps. You change the question. Okay, you compare both the maps and you write the points, because you, and if you do these questions, we covered the whole lesson we have covered, and so this question also you do, but you change the question. Compare this map, the first map that is by Al-Idrisi, and the map that was drawn or made by or prepared by the French cartographer. Okay, you do both, and then one more, you make a separate, or you map copy, make a separate, one physical, one political. Okay, political and physical. So in physical, what do you show? Mountains and land, okay, the rivers, and in political, the states, different. Okay, so in this you use like in geography we usually use physical one. So in this you make you use the physical Indian map, and in that you show important rivers like Ganga, Yamuna. You can take help from page 9. Okay, all the important rivers you mark, and Kannauj also you mark, because, and the oceans. Okay, then okay, Bay of Bengal also, then Arabian Sea. You show all this in your map. This is your homework. So 2 days or 3 days you are getting in between to complete all this. By Monday everything should be complete. Okay, so now it's over. All the best.